Hello, hello. Happy Friday. Hey, Rihanna Journey. How's it going, y'all? All right. Sorry we didn't have a stream the last few days, but we're back. All right. We're back and we're refactoring. What else would we be doing? Thank Godot, it's Friday. Exactly, Rihanna. Yeah, my weekend's gonna be busy. I got a couple events tomorrow. Sunday should be chill though. I say chill, but there is the new map came out in Arc Raiders, so chill is a relative term. All right, so what we're doing, we kind of made a decision last time to change the tile set to be to keep that top and the bottom half of the bulks separate and draw both or one or neither, instead of what we had before where we had the hole and then the bottom half. Now we have the bottom half and the top half. And so it's not one layer that decides whether to draw the whole wall or just the bottom half of the wall. It's two layers that are independently deciding what to do. So that's good. I'm going to be renaming things because I've kind of changed my mind, I think, about how I want to refer to these. I think I've decided to call them deck plate, lower bulk, and upper bulk, instead of what I was doing here, which was deck layer low, deck layer mid, deck layer top. Instead of low, I should have called it bot, but I don't want to refer to all of them as the deck layer because organizationally, I don't think the upper and lower deck distinction matters beyond a rendering level. So I don't want to introduce that organizational distinction everywhere. I only want to introduce it in some places. So this is going to be renamed deck plate layer. So we're going to implement this change today. If we don't finish it, I'll finish it tomorrow at my Godot meetup, maybe. I'm kind of tempted to spend my time at the meetup tomorrow. Working on adding camera controls to mini delivery so that I can demo it on my Steam Deck, which I can already demo it on my Steam Deck, but I kind of want to, people want twin stick controls for that. So I might do that. I don't know. What I am going to be doing tomorrow in the evening is demoing Grave Escape at this playtest in Pints at this Barcade event. That's going to be fun. I really am interested to see how casual people feel about it. I got a new pair of headphones that are like better at noise suppression so that I can play the audio in the game at this bar. I feel like that's my biggest concern, is that like without the audio, the game is like really hard to vibe with. Sounds fun. Yeah, I hope so. I hope so. It's this event they do once a quarter. I usually just bring a couple. When I've demoed, I usually just bring some of my jam games, but it will be cool once I can actually start bringing like quote unquote real games too, right? Like, once we've got our, once we've started to put some games in the Digital Iliad ludic universe, the DLU. All right, that's what I want to call these. I guess I'll go in and I'll change some other names here. I don't love that the door proxy layer comes ahead, but I could call this proxy door layer. But that's not after you, actually. That's fine. I actually don't know what we're going to do in the long term about the proxy door layer, or the door proxy layer, whatever you want to call it. All right, let's go in here. Let's go into here, and let's rename these, because that's what we're doing here. This is going to be a pretty chill stream. But it should be a full one. I think I've got time to do the full 3-hour stream today. Which I would like, considering this is... We're not going to be doing a stream tomorrow. We should have a pretty normal schedule to next week. But we are starting to get into the holidays, so there are going to be some kind of irregular weeks here. Like, I don't know if there's going to be any streams Thanksgiving week. There might be one. There might be one stream Thanksgiving week. But yeah, it's gonna be inconsistent going forward. Does the ordering of this matter? Actually, it might, huh? Put this back down here. The ordering of these might matter. So I don't want to mess with that. That should be good for there, I think. Okay, we didn't change those, so that's good. Oh, I might change the radio to our usual here. All right, into here. And so what do we need to do in here? Kind of starting at the top here. Tile layer count is now 10. That is correct. It's a lot. It's a lot of tile map layers to deal with. Not 10, but 10 times 8 is kind of a lot. And you multiply it again because we separate the outlines from the textures. So 160 tile map layers sounds like a lot, but at the moment we're only doing it once per ship. We'll have to see when we get the zoom in. Once we introduce zoom, like the zoomed out version of the external pieces at least, that's going to be a different story altogether, I think. All right, let's go down the line here and see what we need to do. Might need to change some enums and stuff. So yeah, things like getting the bulk layer data, that really is going to be determined just once for all the bulks. It's not like we're splitting them for the lower and upper. The lower and upper is like a different... Yeah, I don't know. I'm treating it differently for now. I may not in the long run. Cutaways. I think the cutaway extents, I think we're going to rename these. Full deck, full bulk. Actually, we could We could probably leave these. It's a little confusing. I probably should rename these so that there isn't this weird. Full bulk. So yeah, this is, I'm glad I'm changing this because it's confusing. Like a full bulk cutaway is a lower bulk cutaway. Because a lower bulk cutaway implies that the upper bulk is also getting cut away. So honestly, these, I have these set up as flags. They don't really need to be flags though. They don't need to be, but they might as well be, right? One thing that's a little concerning is the auto tiling rules might change a bit. A little concerned.
Maximum walk.
Hey, No Jewel. How was Godot Fest? I think that just wrapped up and you were going to that, right? It was awesome. Yeah, it sounds great. Can't wait to start seeing some talks coming out of there, you know? All right, that should all be fine. Now that we've refactored that, what else do we need to do? You got to talk to a lot of devs. That's great. That's definitely the best part of that sort of event. All the little random conversations and meetups and stuff. All right, what do we need to do here? You were talking, you talked with Jackie Codes about isometric pixel art tile maps. Ooh, that's awesome. Jackie Codes is very cool. I met her for like 5 minutes at GDC. Not even GDC last year. It would have been the GDC, or this year, it would have been GDC 24. Because it was the year that Godot had a booth, and they did not have a booth this year. That's really cool. They're like the definitely highest profile Godot streamer. That's awesome. Yeah, I bet the Godot scene in Europe is really strong. That'd be super cool to get to see. Maybe I'll get to go to a Godot Fest one of these days. That sounds like a great time. So what do I need to do? So we've got these tile dot layers. So I need to introduce additional tile dot. So we need to fix this. We need more distinction here. Oh Lord. This audio and song music's a little intense. Covino said it was way bigger in Munich. Oh cool. Was Covino there? I got to meet Covino at GodotCon. Yeah, you talked about me? All right. Well, thanks. I appreciate that. Yeah, I got to meet some cool streamers at GodotCon. I think I can remove the null. In fact, I think I should. I'm worried that these numbers are actually significant, but I think it should be okay. Do I want to take this opportunity to move the door layer up? I kind of do. Well, maybe I don't, though. I don't know. We can do that later if we decide to. You're excited to see the talks when it gets released? Ooh, the talks are out, you think? Let me go see. Let me go see about that. Godot Fest. I guess the question is, who is hosting these? Under what channel? Okay, there's a Godot Fest channel. Definitely subscribing to that. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, these look posted, huh? Cool. Godot Fest. Subscribed. Fireside chat. What do we got in here? What do we got in here? Any highlights? Got to catch up on 2. You were presenting your asset a lot in the side room on the second day. Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, let's see. Let's see. Any highlights? Any personal highlights? Emmy did a Q&A. I'll definitely watch that. Oh, they have a making of for the Blender project. That was cool. Oh, there's a JetBrains talk. That's who this guy is. Okay. Oh, and they were also in the fireside chat. Okay, there seems like there's some cool JetBrains stuff probably happening. That's cool. That's cool. This one said that just says "Don't ship the wrong game." That's a very interesting clickbaity title that I'm curious to see more about. Oh, the Halls of Torment team did a technical. I tried to pick their brain at GDC 24 because Halls of Torment is pretty wild what they're able to achieve performance-wise. So they weren't willing to reveal to me their secrets at GDC. So I'm excited to watch that video as well. This looks awesome. Cool. Very excited to check those out. The dynamic music was interesting. Ooh, I'm interested in exploring that stuff too. I remember I've had conversations with Fmod about their Godot support. Which, at least in GDC, at GDC 2024, was not significant. It's probably improved to an extent. All right, here are all our layers. So we need to incorporate these new layers. So everyone is just going to be referencing this. We need to split it to include these. So this is going to be some work. How are we going to do that? We'll see. Oh my god. Thank you for beaming up. Thank you for beaming up to the starship. Sapphire Starship. Just popped in to save the streak. You can't stay. No worries. Video only? No. Thank you. Hi, goodbye. Exactly. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. All right, so I'm concerned. I almost want to look for all of the references to the lower bulk X so we can find them. This nested ternary makes me feel really bad, but I actually don't know how to do better. Kind of want to collapse these back down to the same, to just one. Oh, but it has this overlay information. How do I know we're dealing with an overlay? What is like the trick to knowing there's an overlay? It's just whether the mask is not equal to null, right? Like if we pass in a mask, we know we're talking about an overlay. If we don't, we're not. I almost want to just do that at this level. That would make this nested ternary way worse, though. All right, lots of changes to make. Lots of changes. Yeah, this lower bulk is written everywhere. I guess for the extents that'll convert, but the layers, the tile.layer references to this, I'm concerned about.
What in the name of heaven is this?
Oh, and actually, this isn't gonna work. We need another distinction. Oh my god, we got a hype train. Half a year already. Oh, nicely done, Nix. Look at that big shiny, that shiny new golden subscriber badge. Good job. That's awesome. Thank you for the sub. Happy Friday. Yeah, so we have a slight problem where the hulls aren't actually, they're organized by layer, but that's actually not deeply helpful to us because here was the part where I was concerned about splitting the upper and lower bulk. Is organizationally, that distinction doesn't really matter for a lot of these searches, like for hull type. The upper and lower hull type isn't going to be different. Oh, actually, I guess it could, huh? It could be different. It could very well be different. Think about a case where we have like Think about where you've got like maybe some kind of chute, like a crawl space. Imagine if you have a crawl space. The upper tile might actually have a different hull type than the lower tile. What happened here? Why is there all this empty space here? Weird. All right, well, that's the first challenge. How do we want to change that? Derive bulk layer data. So right now we can't actually support a distinction there. So maybe hulls should be stored by form, not by layer. Because the form... Let's take a look at how this works. Where's your train? You got it. You triggered the hype train. Next, you're working on your game. You finished the car. Oh, nice. You finished the car model. You made some small objects like different canned foods and organic foods. Right now, you're working on the map. It's a pain. It sounds cool what you're doing. It's like a kind of like a Pacific Drive kind of thing. Yeah. Looks really cool. All right. So we do forms. If forms.span has block.forms.bulk, block forms, x block forms, hulls, new vector 4i, int tile.layers.lower bulk x. So I think we want to do it like this. I think we want to store the hulls not by tile layer, but by block form. I think that's what we're going to do for now. We might eventually switch back, but I think for now what we're going to say is block dot forms bulk. This is a little confusing, this ternary I got here, though. Oh, X block, that's its neighbor. Right. Okay, I think we can manage this. I think what we should do is we should search for lower bulk Y. Because that will give us an idea of all the places we need to modify the code to accommodate the new form. Oh, we also need to search for the deck plate X as well. Let's do that first. Well, we don't actually need to search for all the uses of that. We just need to fix the hull references. So these three need to change. So instead of that, we're going to say block.forms.deck. Yours will have hacking in it. No, that sounds fun. That sounds cool. Like a Watch Dogs Pacific Drive. Rihanna Journey, nice. You're hoping to wrap up work a bit early and start work on your game some? Nice. You have an animated guy walking around. You've got your terrain set up for auto-tiling finally. Ooh, you got your Godot terrains going. Nice. Hey, Diginanigans, how's it going? Happy Friday. Brandon, you think next you're going to be working on an actual state machine for your guy to handle some different actions they can take? Nice. Hey, Smooth in a second. Good afternoon. You played Stella Montis yet? Waiting. Nice. Good show. I was watching a streamer cheese the queen, who was running around on the damn battlegrounds. It was really funny to watch. And again, it's not too bad. You're off now for a week. Got a bunch of errands done. Gonna play some Baldur's Gate 3 for a while. Nice, nice. All right, so we're switching these to take into consideration the block form instead of the tile layer. At least at the hull level. So I probably need to check every reference to the hulls. Yeah, this is going to be a little rough in terms of refactors, but that's all right. Door layer data. Door layer data. How do we store door layer data? It looks like we're fine. Looks like door layer data is stored separately. That's fine. Oh, nope. Hulls. This needs to be stored. Block.forms.door. Okay, yeah, I think I need to just search all references to the hulls and fix them all, probably. Oh, well, that makes it easy. I just changed the value type in this dictionary. That makes life easy. Oh, wait, is that wrong? That's wrong. Is that wrong? Oh, that is wrong. Never mind. Not that easy. The key's W component is what we're changing. I feel like one will have to kill the queen. Shrine free into spaceport. Came out with Torah, 2 Arpeggio, 2 Bastion cells, and 50k worth of loot. You're crazy. Nyx. Whenever you hear space and queen, you always think of Alien. I think that's a reasonable thing to think about. Ripley, the line of Ripley fighting the queen is like iconic, right? It's so iconic they've like referenced it in their own follow-up films. I kind of liked Romulus, but it was I think they did a little bit too much self-referencing. I think it was kind of gross. The Ian Holm caricature that they did was also pretty disgusting in that film. Just stop making alien films. Just stop doing it. We already did it. They're already done. They're perfect. I should check out the show. Not sure about the show. But stop making alien films. Whoever owns that. You did your best, Smith, in a second. Rhiannon Journey, you're doing 2D pixel art. You're using some assets from the Manaseed collection on itch that you got a long time ago. It'll include some tile sets and an animated paper doll character system. You're using prototyping. That sounds cool. Nyx, you tried out the Alien VR game. Ooh, that sounds pretty good. That does sound pretty good. Block.forms.bulk. So where are we getting this hull key value from? So when we pass in this hull key value, Tile mask. Tile.layers. Hull key.w. So this isn't going to work. Oh, this is a problem. It's actually a bigger problem than I thought. Because the way we're sorting through all of these is we're doing it by hull key. Doing it by key in the hull thing. So if we just store bulks in, we'll have to do multiple calls. Actually, that's not that bad. That's not that bad a problem. I think I can live with this for now. I don't know if I can do this as a switch expression. I think it'll have to switch to, or change to a regular switch statement. It'll look really good. Yeah, I've always been pretty apathetic about VR. I think that's because I've never really encountered like a comfortable VR headset. Like one I would consider spending any amount of time in, more than like the 30-second demo I'd get on like a show floor. And professionally, I've never taken that field seriously. Not field, that market segment. I think the VR market segment is never going to be big. I think it's always going to be one of the smallest game dev market segments, which is fair. It's not bad. It's like the simulation market segment's really small too, like proper like flight sim, train sim stuff. Like just because of the barrier to entry, you need this whole kit. All right, so I need to rewrite this switch statement. I think I'm going to come back to this. Let's presume that we're going to continue writing out the hulls by... Yeah, because the half block... I'm struggling to decide whether the half bulk cutaway is, or not the half bulk cutaway, but the half bulk, like the lower portion of the bulk, if that actually is going to be something you can place, where you can be like, I want to place a tile that's here, that's a half wall, and I want it to be recognized as a half wall. I'm thinking about stuff like I'm especially thinking about ventilation shafts and stuff like that, like Jeffrey's tubes and like Star Trek, like little tubes that you have to like crawl down. Do I want to support those now? Do I want to support having those like half? I don't know. I definitely want to support that sort of thing. Just don't know if I want to support it now. You have the Quest 3. It was uncomfortable. You spent 120 euro on a better head strap, battery and fan included. It's much more comfortable to use. Nanigans, you've yet to try a proper VR headset. You got one of those cheap sets that just go over your phone. That's it. Yeah, I've seen those. I've seen those. I already have a problem with like eye fatigue from like looking at a screen that's like a few feet away from me. I can't imagine how bad the eye fatigue is looking at like a VR headset that's like inches away from your eye. I think that causes ocular issues in the long run. Especially for someone like me who has like, you know, poor sight. No, Joel, you got one too. You got a nicer head strap. Or, yeah, head strap. Nix, you found a game that simulates early space missions pretty well. That's kind of fun. That sounds kind of fun. It's called Re-Entry. Hey, LS Dev. Just have the height of the normal tiles and make the regular rooms 2 tiles high. That'd be another week of sprite work though, probably. Yeah, but then the problem with that, LSDev, is that means there's floors with floors and floors without floors. You know what I'm saying? If we do what you're suggesting, then you have like the deck plate and then like half a wall plate and then another half a wall plate. Like if we treat those, what I've got right now is there's a level, and a level has a deck plate layer and then a lower wall layer and an upper wall layer. And all I'm really deciding is whether I want that split wall layer to just be a rendering detail or to actually have that be like something you can build around. And I actually think that if we support vents are actually going to be in the upper wall layer. Like if you've got a vent, I think the way a vent would work is that it would, like a ventilation shaft that you can crawl into, I think it would be on the upper half of the wall. Otherwise, you couldn't see people crawling around in vents because of the cutaway blocking them. So I don't know. I kind of don't want to open that whole can of worms now. Because for one thing, we don't have a way of placing a lower half wall. There'd be a lot of details that would be a problem. It could support things like stairs more easily. Not a bunch more artwork then. No, it would be... It's kind of just a question of organization. But how are you doing? Happy Friday. Do you all see the new Steam hardware announcements? Yeah, I'm very excited. Was Godot featured in that announcement? I didn't actually see the announcement. I just kind of read the write-up after. But I am interested. I'll probably get a Steam machine. The new controller looks good. Again, I'm apathetic about the VR stuff, but the new Steam machine looks cool. I'll probably get one. You're doing swell. This year's a great year for gaming so far. Yeah, as long as you don't work in AAA, I guess. Not a great year for AAA. I mean, it's a great year for gamers, but... There was the Godot editor on a screen visible for a second. Okay. That sounds cool. All right. I don't know what I want to do here. I guess the smart thing to do would be to continue with what I'm doing. I could add a form for the upper and lower bulk. I can imagine uses for this. I can imagine uses of like distinguishing between the upper and the lower for some stuff. But it also sounds like a lot of work to support right now. I'm just wondering if I will get myself in trouble if I don't support this from the get-go here. I don't think so. But then again, who knows? Nanigans, the new Steam machine will heavily depend on the price point. In your opinion, there isn't anything special about it. They said they aren't doing the reduced pricing model like they did on the Steam Deck. We'll see. They print money. I would not be surprised if they sell this Steam machine at a loss. Because I think they just want more of a presence on console. Like, even Xbox announced that the next version of the Xbox, like the next official version of like the standard Xbox console thing, whatever codename Magnus or whatever they're calling it right now, they're like, that is going to support other libraries. They basically admitted that Steam is going to be on it. So I think Steam wants to beat them to the punch. Because if they can put out this little console, even if it's just basically the equivalent of like the current generation of console, performance-wise, if they can just get it out first, they're going to be in good shape. Because people's Steam library is having access to their Steam library is worth far more than, you know. I think people will be willing to pay a premium to be able to do that more easily. Because they can price it. They don't have to price it like a console. They can price it like a budget PC. Like a budget gaming PC. They explicitly said they aren't going to sell it at a loss. It would be competitive with you buying the parts individually yourself. Okay, it doesn't sound like they're going to be making any profit off of it, though. Which is a pretty big distinction. If they're not going to be anticipating any profit from it, I think that's a good strategy for one thing. All right, so I think the smart thing to do would be to use the tile dot layers and actually treat these layers as distinct. Like the lower half of the floor and the upper half of the floor. I think in the long run that's correct, but I think in the short term I'm not going to do it. I think in the short term we're gonna chill with what we've got here, which is we'll use the layer marker for the key. Will probably continue to be. Oh, we could also just do double entries. Actually, we could do both, huh? So we could do this. We could just, all we have to do here is do 2 entries. We just double entry here, and then we can actually get around the problem. Temporarily, at least. Because this way the tool, what I don't want to do is I don't want to have to teach the tool system about the upper and lower sections of the wall. Because right now there's no point in drawing an upper or lower section of a wall. It's just a rendering detail, so let's keep it a rendering detail. That doesn't mean I need to go back to this, though. So this is going to go back to being, it's going to say, oh yeah, the form thing was never going to work. I understand. That would have never worked, so we have to do it this way. Because we can't distinguish between each face just by referring to its form. So that's a good reason that we have to do it this way. Shenanigans, you'll see. All for more options, especially that are consumer friendly. You just don't see anything special here so far. And they made an attempt with all these products before. The only special thing is the Steam library. And I think Microsoft has tried to get out ahead of this by announcing that the next Xboxes will allow you to use your Steam library. I think just more form factors that make use of your Steam library is huge. Because most people's Steam library is thousands and thousands of dollars of products. Like, I don't think anyone wants to have to try to rebuild their collections from scratch, you know? We shall see. We shall see. Microsoft's essentially given up on the console war anyway. They're too worried about PC gaming, I think. I don't know. I don't follow all this stuff terribly closely. I read a little here and there. But yeah, I think it's cool. I'll get one. I'll probably get one. All right, so what we need to do instead of what we've got here is we need to say something just like haul. Haul. Why not just say haul? Equals this. Is this understandable at all if I write it as a single line? Oh, it's this. It's this. Not really. Should probably still be written like this. I know nested ternaries are generally frowned upon, but I don't know if I care that much. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do a double entry here. This is how we're going to deal with this. We'll say haul. Wait, why do we do it in this order? Oh, I understand. We'll say haul X. Here we'll say tile dot layers dot lower bulk X equals haul X, and then we'll do the same thing here. We'll say hauls upper bulk X equals haul X. This is easier. This is easier what we're doing here. Hey, Sammy Kins, what's up? Talking about the Steam Gabe Cube. Gabe Cube is pretty good. I haven't heard that yet. You only get one if they have a special edition companion cube version. Well, the faceplate, the front faceplate is apparently customizable. So I am sure there's going to be either custom faces or like wrap kits, like wraps. People are going to be wrapping their Gabe Cubes. Gabe Cube is a great term. I have not heard that. Hey, Disappeared. Welcome to the YouTube chat. You're an intermediate level programmer. You have a question. How can you manage such a big project like a full game? How do you begin and how do you learn to do all this? Oh, you begin by just beginning. Beginning is the easiest part. How do you keep it going, especially with bigger projects? That is hard. That is hard. A lot of people will say, learn how to build features, not games. Which is an interesting approach, because then you've got distinct features, and I think there's a wisdom in doing that, where it's like, you're like, oh, I figured out this inventory system. I have an inventory feature. I can use it in multiple projects or something like that. So like people will like separate their features out into distinct products, quote unquote, insofar as they'll have their own plugins or something like that. Yeah, that is a big problem. Thinking about them in terms of modules or plugins or separate features, I think helps. The problem is, though, a game is such a unique thing in a unique context, I think inevitably you get into a position where you're like, this feels like it's one big knot, and I don't know how to untie this one big knot. D-Brand is making a companion cube kit for it, of course. They have an entire custom shell. There you go, Sammykins. Oh my god, Ran and Journey linked it in the Twitch chat. But yeah, what kind of stuff are you looking at making, Disappeared? You said you're already an experienced programmer, so I'd say this kind of stuff that you do to manage any large project is still relevant. It's still very relevant for games. But yeah, the problem is each game ends up being such a unique little snowflake that it is hard standardizing anything in a meaningful way. The way I handle it is I try not to work on too many features at once. Like we've been working on this block editor tool for most of the year because I would have a hard time managing this if I was constantly context switching between them all, between all these different features and tools and stuff. So I try to just keep it clean, work on one thing at a time. That's kind of what has helped me in the past and currently. All Y. Tile.layers.lower. But I am curious to hear about your project. We also have a Discord community. Happy to go into more detail on this kind of stuff too there. All right, way to go, autocomplete. Someone's going to make a Borg custom shell for it. I would love that. I would love a Borg shell with all the little greebles. All the little Borg greebles. Maybe some lights. Yeah, that's great. That'd be cool. I think eventually I do want to distinguish between the layers, the different bulk layers, because I do think eventually we are going to need to change this. I think for now we'll be okay, though. I think for now this is going to be okay if this is our temporary solution here. Come on, autocomplete. Like, at least try. There we go. It got most of the way there. All right, I think temporarily this is fine. We're just double entering this. One for each layer, bulk layer. One for the lower, one for the upper. I think that's fine. All right, there is a hull entry at the bottom of this, no? Yep, right here. Tile.layers.door proxy. Nix, you made a cool Blender add-on tool. It'll help you create maps so much faster. You can generate base tiles, 500 meters squared, and then you can create some height map. Right now it's done being using Google Maps. You manually find a cool place, import it into Blender, set up their place properly, import in the height. Use your tool to properly break this down into smaller blocks. Applies the proper height for every point, brings over the material as well. You can just download height maps from Google Maps. Sick. Kind of crazy, but sick. Hey! Pattern Forden Communismus. Sorry for the pronunciation. Thank you for the follow. Nix, it breaks it down into a proper image. This will help you create the actual environment. It should be more lifelike. It's based on realistic terrain. You just have to use a couple of separate add-ons. It'll really quickly let you build realistic houses. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Fancy. Impressive. All right. Moving along here. I think we did that, so we can go back down this way. Excuse me. I'm tired. I already had my coffee today, but I'm feeling like a tea soon. I'm like tired. So I'm a little concerned maybe. No, the reference to the cutaways should all be fine actually here. I don't think a lot else changes. I do need to mess with this because this is incomplete. So I think for now we'll just keep the structure I have, but I don't like this. I don't like this switched. I don't like this ternary switch expression thing that's happening here. And it's just to distinguish between the overlays and the non-overlays. I actually don't think I need this. I don't know. I think I'll figure out a better way to do this later. But for now, we just have to do it like this. And for now, we're just going to copy this and make an upper and lower version of it because I'm lazy. These function calls are going to need to change. And in fact, I should actually rewrite I should write the additional function calls before I try to split it like that. So this is going to be a little annoying. I think for now, I'm just going to copy them. But I think they're actually going to be different. Like, I think the upper and lower auto-tiling rules are going to be different. Process is really slow. You can't get height maps from Google Maps directly. You use OpenMap to get the terrain info. Fascinating. End result, in the way where you don't have to worry about the grid itself. You just worry about recreating the environment in your own low poly style. That's cool. It's a cool approach. Yeah, I kind of want to do this here. I kind of want to switch on the mask here. That's probably not the right place to do it though. We'll see. Hey, Mr. Magoo. How's it going? Happy Friday. How's your week been? All right, so here's the part where we start copying this. So I'm a little concerned about doing it this way, but this is how it's going to be done. Just going to copy this whole group. This is gross. This is a gross way to do this, but I think we'll be able to figure out a better way later. going difficult. Sorry to hear that. We're going okay. We're in the midst of a refactor here. When are we not? But we're cruising through it. I'm kind of trying to do the laziest version of this. But I think it'll be fine for our purposes for now. And it solves a lot of outline problems. It solves the last set of real outline problems we have. So I think once we've got this, we're going to be pretty pleased for a while in terms of auto-tiling. I think we'll be pretty good. At least until all the corner stuff starts to matter. I think I do need to test textures. Like, I need to try to draw some, like, underlying textures. Because I don't think the corner stuff is going to matter until we start to see those. And once we see those, if we haven't prepared for it, it's going to look bad. Which, I guess we could just, you know, accept. We could just accept that it's going to look bad. So here's some stuff that's interesting. Some of these early outs. Some of these early outs are going to be curious. Like this. If cutaways.has, cutaway.extents.lower bulk. No, I guess we'll do this for everything, huh? I guess that should be fine. I think eventually we could probably be more efficient with these, but I think that'll be okay for now. Oh, I did this in a weird order. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, that's something. So we need to go back up here and, yeah, reconnect these. So at the moment, this is what we're going to do, and I don't like it, but it's what we're going to do. So what we could do is we could actually take this, copy it down here. Hey, Arneo, how's it going? Happy Friday. How's your week been? Your stuff is looking good. I love that little short teaser of like what a fight looks like when the AI is like launching missiles at you. It looked very good. Looked very expanse. It was good. It was cool. You nailed that whole like flying along and like just dropping missiles. It was cool when they would go outside of visual range and you would have to look at the radar blips to keep track of it. Super cool. Thanks for the hydrate, Nix. Arneo, yeah, you pushed out an initial hostile AI. Now you can fling missiles in a confusing hail of PDC bullets. Yeah, I think that's super cool. I think that's cool to watch for sure. All right, this section is done. Oh, I got to do the same thing down here. I forgot. I don't like this. I don't like how we've done this. You know, I'm just powering through. You can't change everything that you don't like about the code base all at the same time, you know? Pick your battles. Doors, try get value, whole key XYZ outdoor dot tile value. Doors, try get, oh yeah, there's no type record for the door. That makes sense. Because a door is a door is a door. A door is a door except when it's not. Sometimes it's a window. Okay, I think that's good. I think we can live with that. Arneo, it's already kind of fun. Lots of fiddling to be done to balance it out. You're still missing the information war part of battle. We'll get to once the AI is a bit more polished. Yeah, the information war is cool. But it will be really tricky for you to do it in a way where the AI doesn't seem just dumb as a brick and or cheating. It's that problem of you need the AI to be fun. You don't need them to be, like, smart. You need them to provide fun obstacles. And I feel like in this sort of thing where you're, like, calculating firing solutions and stuff like that, it would be really easy for the AI to just play perfectly, right? You don't want the AI to play perfectly. You want the AI to play fun. As long as the door isn't ajar, we're fine. There we go. You got it, Nix. Appreciate everyone hanging out today. Hope everyone's got some nice weekend stuff going on. I've got a playtesting event that'll be fun to go to. I want to see some people have fun with the Grave Escape. I mean, it'll be sad if no one does. It's going to be a tough environment to show it off in terms of, like, making sure people get the audio and everything. Like, I think a lot of people won't be willing to put the headphones on. And then the game will be very hard to, like, follow. Because I use a lot of audio cues. But, I don't know. I'm excited. I'm excited tomorrow to see it. I haven't really gotten to see anyone play this game yet. The kind of games that I'm making aren't being received super well with the jam community. I think it's because I'm heading in this cozy game direction that's very open-ended, very nebulous. I need to think about that more, about the environment of a jam and, like, what's expected. It'd be better if I made stuff that had, like, very distinct lengths and clear end states and stuff. Gotta work on that. Arneo, your approach for now is to make them as scary as possible, then dumb them down so it's more fun. Right now, they kind of knock out every missile you throw at them. Yeah, no, I'm sure it'll be easier to dial that back. You start them out at, like, Terminator levels of, like, terrifying, and then you can limit them. Because there are things they won't be able to do, right? And that'll make the information war part way more important, right? Because the AI isn't really going to be able to intuit things, right? Not the way a human player could. Or at least they shouldn't be able to do that. So I think there will be some interesting ways you can play around that, where like they make good decisions based on the information they have available, but they can't like close information gaps the same way that a human's intuition would. At least the way I would write it. I don't know. I'm sure there's ways where you could have them infer things from unknown information. I've never actually made a game that's information incomplete. I'm actually really curious about how that's going to work, because my game is definitely going to be incomplete information. Because there will be sensors, and like you won't necessarily be able to know what's going on inside an enemy ship. And the enemy won't necessarily know what's going on inside your ship. So there's definitely some interesting stuff there. Okay, so the thing I think I need... So here's a problem. Here's a problem. So... right now... we actually do hull checks. We actually do a lot of hull checks. And it's okay for now because we're double writing everything. In terms of double writing, we're writing all of the bulk, all of the walls twice. We're writing the lower and upper. So I think for now, none of this breaks, but I could totally see a world where it does. Oh, shoot. The cutaways. Those are... oh, no. The cutaways should be fine. The cutaways should be fine. But I do need to add additional layers to all of these, to these. Has whatever, has edge, whatever. I need to add the other layers. But right now, I think they'll work exactly the same way. But I don't want that to be true for long. These are actually going to need to be rewritten. And that's going to be fun. Fun is not the right word for what this is going to be. But it'll be interesting. Once we've split these, we'll definitely need to rewrite them. Because not all of these rules are going to matter. And it's actually going to be kind of annoying to figure out which of them don't matter. So like this upper bulk cutaway is only going to matter for the upper bulk. It's not going to matter for the lower bulk. So we're going to need to remove it from the lower bulk. So we're going to need to pare back some of the rules or make them more specific because we were introducing another set of tile layers. But for right now, we're just copying everything. Because I can. Rhiannon Journey, you forgot to say that you got to play around with the direct movement version of Grave Escape. You like that better? Oh, thank you. Yeah, it is just unequivocally better. I almost want to remove support for the click to move, but I'm keeping it because I wanted the game to work on mobile. But yeah. I should have done direct movement from the get-go. I probably would have gotten a lot better gameplay score if I had done that. Yeah, so right now we're just going to duplicate all of these and then sort it out later. It's going to look wrong, but it'll look mostly right most of the time probably, at least at first. I feel like I'm going to work on this over the weekend and not mini deliveries, camera movement. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I would like to get camera movement. It's fun to mess around with my old jam games and just improve them a little by little. Just keep them in the portfolio. It's definitely fun. I still need to go back and work on some bare necessities, post-jam stuff. I want to record some audio, and I have not had time to do that. But I do have some other stuff in mind to improve the usability of that game as well. So I love that little game. It's really bad, but I love it. I don't know if I love this song. It's a cute game. Yeah. It's fun to look at. But I'm getting to the point where I'm getting good enough that I can make the assets needed for a game in 72 hours, you know? What I'm not good at yet is making a fun game in 72 hours. I think I got close with the Grave Escape, but I don't think I got quite there. But we're getting closer. We're getting better. I'm really glad I started doing game jams. I'm improving a lot of skills that I never get the opportunity to improve in the main project, right? Because the main project is taking so long and is so involved. There's so much stuff involved on so many different levels but I am getting the opportunity to practice all this stuff in game jams, and I think that's very valuable. So I'm glad we're doing it. We're going to do more of it next year. We're going to enter at least 4, maybe 5 game jams next year. I think it's going to be fun. 4 or 5. I want to do the 2 down to jams. I want to do at least 1 Loot 'em Dare. And I want to do at least 1 solo dev game jam. You're getting closer. You really do think it's just been the time constraints. Time constraints are tough. I'm also bad at picking the right things to spend the time on. Arneo, what did the jam winners look like this time? You weren't really following the scores. You imagine it's the more weird abstract concepts that are very stylized, like the crawling arm leg game. The crawling arm leg game literally won. That one was called... It tied for first, but that means it won, right? Yeah, that one was called Angels Arose, I think. And that was by Titan. There was a co-winner, which was a game I didn't actually play, and I need to go back and play it. And then third was our... was Yurga's game, which was the cool one about the losing your color vision and then having to try to get your color vision back. That one got third. I thought that one should have won, honestly. No offense to Titan. Did I finish the Angel game? I did finish it. I did finish it, Nick. I finished it and I talked to Titan about it. It was cool. Random Journey, you're getting closer. You really do think it's been the time constraint? Oh, I already read that. Yeah. Yeah, I think I need to be very careful when I do like a 48-hour game jam. Because and to an extent, these 72-hour game jams, I need to tighten up the scopes. I thought the Grave Escape had a pretty reasonable scope of just like 4 enemy types and this very basic structure, and yeah, I barely finished it in time. So I need to tighten up my scopes a bit. Especially when we do like Loot 'em Dare, which is only 48 hours. But I think I kind of am getting a better idea of what I can do in that amount of time, reasonably. Halls contains key. This key. Okay, that should be fine. I want to do a longer game jam next year. I think I want to do like a wild. Told you it wasn't that hard. Hard is relative. Hard is a relative term. I think that game is the onboarding in that game is non-existent. So it's very nebulous what you're supposed to do, which is a sign of generally game jam games. But I've learned that's like probably more important in a game jam game than anywhere else. Like onboarding a new player and explaining what they're supposed to be doing. I haven't gotten good at that either. The best that I've done with my last couple of jams, or the last two solo dev jams I did, Mini Delivery and Grave Escape. I have like I have like a slide. It's almost like a slideshow of tutorial screens, which is not great, but I'm spending more time on that part of it. I want to do one that's actually proper, like tutorial, like you play, like the first level of the game, like teaches you how to play the game. I want to do some more of that stuff. I think that's really important. I also want to try to do a game jam game that has like a definite ending, where it's like a series of content you absorb and then the game actually ends. Because we got blown out of the water by all the other games in the last jam. I think we ended up with 17th overall, which again is, you know, it's in the upper quarter. It's in the upper fifth even. But I don't know. I felt like maybe we could have done better. We'll do better next time. But yeah, I want to do like a Godot Wild jam or something next year. I want to do a jam that's like more than 3 days. I want to do a jam that's like 9 days, like a Godot Wild jam is, so that I have 2 weekends and then the week between. So I could like kind of be chill the first weekend and then work on it normally the following week and then go crazy, do my usual like all-nighters the last weekend and stuff just to get it all done. I want to try a longer jam. I want to find one that is a solo jam. I know there's the solo dev marathon jam, but that's kind of something else. It's not exactly the thing that we're talking about. Is that it? No, not. There's this one. All right, we're getting close to being able to test this. And then, yeah, there's going to be a lot of auto-tiling rules to mess around with here. Because these rules are not written to accommodate split bulks here. It's just... It's not going to behave correctly. But I'd rather start from something than try to write the rules from scratch again, so we're going to take care of it this way. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, I think that's all of them. I don't love how this has now become a 2,000 line system, but it's definitely going to be one of the more involved systems. It's also something we could probably break out a little bit. But there aren't actually that many opportunities to break these things out. Like we could separate the hull detection system and like the cutaways system, but that's like only the first, like, I don't know. What is it? It's only like the first like few hundred lines accomplishes all of that. And then the rest of it is just this enormous autotiler. All right, all right. What do we do next? What do we need to do before we can test this? I think we've done the stuff we need to do. I think we just go for it. I'm still streaming. You're able to join for a bit now. Hey, Sapphire. Welcome on to the stream. Thanks again for the sub. Really appreciate that. Very nice bronze sub badge you've got there. Hard to believe it's only been 2 months. You've only missed 1 stream. That's crazy. That's crazy. Really appreciate it. Hope everything's going well. Yeah, we've got a low-key stream today. I'm still kind of tired. I ended up taking a bit of a sick day yesterday. I got all my shots yesterday. Or not yesterday, on Wednesday. So I've just been kind of recuperating, you know? All the seasonal shots that one must get. Didn't knock me out as hard as it has in the past, so that was good. So I feel like I'm mostly back to normal today. But I'm feeling that lack of energy. And lack of focus. Feeling both. How's it going today? Yeah, pretty good. We're continuing. I think we've laid down most of the work we need to split the lower and the upper half of the wall tiles and render them separately. All the rules are wrong because they presume a single unified wall tile. But I think we're getting close to being able to run it and test it. And then we're going to start fiddling with the auto tiling rules. Watch streak. 20 stream streak. That's pretty good. Impressive. I feel like it should give you more channel points for the longer the stream. It seems to be capped. Not that there's anything for you to spend your channel points on, so I'll work on that. Still working on that. We're getting close to a milestone over on YouTube. We're getting real close to being able to monetize the YouTube side a little bit. Let people get memberships and do super chats and stuff. Not that I think anyone needs to do that. I'm not like soliciting people to do that. I'm just, it feels like a milestone on the growth of the channel and stuff, you know? Hey, Arneo. Sapphire making you sweat. You're 21 streams. You can't drop a single one or you'll get caught up. Yeah, be careful. You don't want to lose that streak. This new stream streak thing is really funny. I think it's cool. It definitely prompts me to like drop in sometimes. If I miss a day or something somewhere, I'm like, oh, gotta be sure I drop in today. Keep my stream streak up. Pretty funny. All right, I'm just gonna hit run and I'm just gonna let it crash because I literally can't tell. I can't tell what else I need to do for this to work. I think we've done all of the stuff in terms of the layers and everything. Maybe some of the Godot code hasn't been updated. Like, do you need to know anything about the number of layers? Do you need to know anything about the number of layers? All you have is like an offset. I don't know why there's a hard-coded offset in here either. That's like not good. No, that seems okay. It seems like it's all written very flexibly. You fix your code up, it runs 100 times faster. You switch to GPU rendering. Nice. That's crazy. Sunfire, either Fridays or Saturdays are the days that you'll be the most likely to miss a stream. It's guinea pig cage cleaning. Your brother comes over to help. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, you posted pictures of your guinea pigs, I think. They're adorable. I'm allergic to like all rodents. I've learned. I had hamsters as a kid for like a short period of time. I became so allergic that I developed asthma temporarily. Like I needed an inhaler. I was so allergic to these hamsters that lived in my room for like a month. It's funny. I'm allergic to most of those. most animals except dogs, which is good because dogs are all I need. All I really need is a dog. Now my life would be peak, I think. All right.
Your logic was impeccable, Captain.
No doubt. All right, instant crash, but from what? Oh no, it ran. Okay. There's this. There's this. Okay, it's kind of working. Kind of. The overlay is wrong, but that's because, so I need to tell the overlay. I need to do something about the Z level. Okay, let's just draw a wall here. Well, this is working more than I thought it would, to be honest. Okay, this is all weird. So the lower half X plate has an incorrect offset. Actually, is that the lower or the... No, it's the lower. And then it's rendering a top. Okay, I think I see what's happening there. There's some Z fighting happening with the outlines, which I think I can fix. Well, let's fix this easy thing first, which is that the lower bulk X face is being drawn incorrectly. Okay, so the autotiler needs to look at itself more. Or not the autotiler, the wall layers need to start talking to each other so that they understand when they don't need to render their own outlines. That makes sense. So we're going to need to adjust all the rules to handle that. Because I think before they were talking to the lower and the upper deck plates, but now they need to talk. Now the wall plates need to talk to each other. The half sections of the wall plates. Dogs rock. That is true. Sapphire, you're pretty much allergic to basically anything with fur, you think? Your piggies don't really affect you too much, so you can bear it. Nice. Cage cleaning is the worst, you get it? That's why you get some help from your brother. Well, that's nice. Sapphire, you seem like one day the tilers is working almost perfectly, and the next day you join and everything is broken again. Well, we split the wall pieces, so now instead of one solid wall piece getting drawn, instead there are two. There's a lower and an upper. And that lets us fix a bunch of problems, but the system up until now hasn't had that, so the auto-tiling rules aren't written to accommodate that. So we're going to go through a process to fix that. But in the long run, it's going to make things a lot better. All right, so what are we looking at? We want to look at the lower bulk layer X. At least one or more of these don't have the correct offset. -8, 10. -8, -6. So that was it. -8, 10. -8, 10. -8, 10. Okay. So that's good. So that fixes that. So let's try that again. Always. Always. We'll see. I would like to be done with the autotiler. The autotiler at least by episode 300. Maybe not the whole block editor. All right, so what's going on here? There is some interesting... So we're not removing some faces that we should. Or the offset is wrong again. Not quite sure what's going on there. There's definitely some Z fighting at the corners here. I'm a little concerned about this. This implies to me that the faces that should be getting rendered as default, quote unquote, meaning just not rendered at all, they seem to be getting drawn anyway. So why? And also, why do the Z layers seem to have higher priority than they should? Well, let's fix some of the obvious stuff here. We'll look at the overlay in a second. So the thing I'm interested in right now is the... Wow, this is a nightmare. There's so many of these. There's so many of these now. Let's start with the deck plates, because that might matter. Actually, we start here, huh? So we want to start at the... Let's look at negative Y. And let's see here. So we do this hull. We try get the hull value. So we're actually try getting the hull value on our level. We're looking at the lower bulk X. Okay, that's probably correct. The match statement issue you're talking about? Yeah. The match statement can be a little weird. I think the thing was split. Split is weird. What split does in terms of like string manipulation stuff. Like whenever I have confusing bugs that I don't understand, whether I'm working in C# or GDScript or JavaScript or anything, it's always some kind of string comparison bullshit. It always happens. All right, so I think the deck plate, if it's looking, well, the deck plate, if it's looking negative Y means it's looking up. So yeah, the lower bulk is the correct layer to look at. Yeah, that's correct. Deck plate Y, same thing. Deck plate Z, whatever. Let's not worry about that right now. If we start looking at different Z indexes, we need to change some stuff. So lower bulk X. So the lower bulk, if it's looking above itself, so it used to be looking at the deck plate X. What it needs to be doing now is it needs to be looking at its upper bulk. Negative Y. Negative Y is the layer above you. In this context only. I need to rewrite that. Be less confusing. You got rid of the split and it worked perfectly. Thankfully, you realize you're most likely never going to need more than one tag, so you don't need the split. You would need the split if you needed more than just one tag. According to what was printing out, it should have been working perfectly, though. No, that's the thing. That's the thing. String comparisons. You'll be doing some kind of string comparison. You'll be like, this should be working. But there will be some unrenderable character in it or some nonsense, or there's always something. There's always something in string comparisons. You could also map your tags onto like an enum or something like that and probably avoid the string comparison entirely. Enums are a little weird in GDScript. They're just like individual constants that it's a little weird. It's a little weird. I guess that's kind of how enums always work, but they're a little weird. Thing that's been going around the internet lately that makes me feel confused and old is this Marcus character. It's like, if you know, you know, and if you don't worry about it. All right, so the lower bulk X needs to determine whether its upper edge should be rendered. Well, that means we don't want to look at the deck plate above us. What we want to do is we want to get rid of this Z modification. So we're getting rid of this Z modification. Instead, we're going to look at the upper bulk X. I'm going to change this to adjacent bulk X. This cutaway thing is a little concerning to me here. And not cutaways hull-key.x. Oh, I see. So that is going to say upper. Yeah, we're going to rewrite a lot of these auto-tiling rules to accommodate this. But that's okay. It'll help me understand what each line is doing anyway. So, okay, so same thing here for this side. Instead of looking at the deck plate above us, we will look at the upper bulk plate on our same level. Upper bulk Y. Why does it go in order? Upper bulk Z is 9, X is 7. Okay. It's the autofiller doing it in that order. Adjacent bulk Y. You love Mark. Okay. A lot of big love for Marcus the Worm. All right. No worries. Enjoy the lurk. Thank you. Thank you, Sapphire. Thank you for keeping the stream streak alive. Thank you for the sub. Appreciate it. All right. Well, we'll try to be happy on the other monitor. You can't put me in a corner, but you can put me in a separate window. All right. So this upper bulk Y. Get rid of this negative Z check. But I'm in the corner of the stream. Look, I put myself here. That's different. That's a good idea, Ryan and Journey. All right, so, and then this is the Z. I'm a little concerned about the Z stuff going on here. What I should do is I should double check the cutaway stuff because it seems like we're drawing things that we should be just exiting out of. Especially when it comes to the overlay. And I'm worried that we're actually doing it everywhere and I can only see it on the overlay. Because I really want to avoid passing over tile data for totally hidden faces that don't need to be rendered. Like, it's a kind of occlusion culling that we should be doing. Where if you've got a tile face that's like right up against another tile face or up against another block that is solid, you should not render these tiles. And it looks like we are in some cases, which is fine. Probably because some of the early out checks are written wrong now. Or they don't know how to accommodate the new split wall structure. All right, lower bulk Z. So what do? You're looking at the adjacent Z. Bulky, lower bulk Z. You're looking at your adjacent Z. You're saying if there isn't a cutaway for the lower bulk, sure. And the cutaways has upper bulk. Cutaways has upper bulk. Cutaways deck plate. Hulls contains key. W with deck plate. Minus YZ. This seems wrong. Whatever's going on here. What is this? So we're like, look at the deck plate up and over. This is wrong, but I'm not quite sure how to fix that yet. Oh, excuse me. The big tired. The big tired is coming to take me. So what I think I need to do here, so what we're doing here is we're doing this cutaway check where we're like, we don't need this upper edge. As long as there is a cutaway on the deck plate level, one up and over. But are we really interested in the one up and over? Because we're the lower bulk Z. So I don't think we actually are. So this should actually just be minus Y dot has upper bulk or not hulls dot contains key. Hull with W is tile dot layers dot deck plate X. Why do I do this? Hull key with W minus that. That's a weird way to write that. Minus Y. That seems good. And then what we want to do... So this actually mostly stays the same. And not... Upper bulk. Okay, the upper bulk one is... This is wrong, but I'm not quite sure what to do about it right now. This is a weird detuned song we're listening to. This one kind of bothers me. I didn't really like that. Arneo, organizing 9.8K files. No, I don't think it's 9.8K files. I think it's 8K images. Like 8K resolution. But yeah, that's big. Yeah, no worries. It still sounds crazy what Nyx is doing here. All right, so this stuff is fine, I think. Minus Y, blah, 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 blah. Okay. All right, so positive Y. So now we're interested in positive Y. So we need to do some similar stuff here. So deck plate X, positive Y, so that's below us. So we actually need to be accessing the upper bulk layer, not the lower bulk layer in this case. Cutaways dot has any is a little sketchy. All right, we're heading into ads. Hold on to your ads, people. All right, lower bulk, looking below. It's probably fine. Lower bulk. That's a full bulk, right? Value 2, yeah. Thank you for the hydrate, Rana Journey. Oh, the stretch too? Jeez. You're really taking me to task here. Okay, I think this is right. This cutaway check here is a little suspicious to me. But no, that's probably right. All right, lower bulk Z. And cutaways dot has. Cutaways dot has equals. Blah blah blah. Yeah, these are questionable, but so much of a reminder for you. That's funny. Feels like you're taking care of your Tamagotchi. Yeah, don't let me die. I will literally die of like thirst, you know, if I'm not told to drink water. All right, so in upper bulk, you're looking below yourself to figure out whether you should have an outline. Yeah, so you need to check your lower bulk, not the deck. Not the deck plate. The way we've layered this is actually quite helpful to us. I think this cutaway is fine. Not sure about that, but we're gonna go with it for now. All right, and this one's the tricky one because this is the Z bulk. So you're concerned about a cutaway, either of those cutaways. You're concerned about this cutaway equaling this one, maybe. I don't know if I believe that. These outlines, the outline rules. Oh, this is gonna be bad. Okay. Not has edge positive Y overlay. Holes contains key. Z plus 1, so we're looking below. We're looking below us. So if we're looking below us, we need to look at the upper bulk, not the lower bulk. We're looking below us again, so again, the upper bulk. Anytime the Z gets added to, you just swap these lowers to uppers. Oh, I didn't even look to see what layer that was. Lower bulk X. Okay, you're now upper bulk X. Lower bulk Z becomes upper bulk Z. Upper bulk Z. And then we can just flip all of these too. Lowers, uppers. Sounds like lingo for drugs. Yeah, kinda. Kinda does. I like lower and upper as terms because they're the same length. Like I get annoyed when I have to distinguish two things and the distinction it doesn't match in terms of the length of the words. Bothers me. Also bothers me is why this autocomplete is like flipping the order of these layers around. Very confusing. Like why would you write it in the order X, Z, and then Y? Why would that be the order, autocomplete? I guess that's not autocomplete. That's like the IntelliSense thing. All right, what do we got here? What do we got here? So this is looking below itself. Or is it? With W equals deck plate Z. I guess that's probably correct. The upper, that definitely can't be correct, though. This makes me suspicious. I don't want to do anything about it yet, though. Well, maybe I should. It should be, say, upper bulk. Well, hold on a second. It's looking at the deck plate, so actually it probably should be lower bulk. And then this should be lower bulk Z. Yeah, I think some of the checks that early out from drawing the tile are failing now that we've split these layers. So I need to go look at all those. I don't love that we've touched like virtually every line in this file. It makes me nervous. I know this is a major refactor, but it still makes me nervous. The fact that it runs at all is kind of a minor miracle. Hey Hex, how's it going? How's it Godoting? Slowly but surely, that's the way. We're doing this big refactor and it's kind of we're having a time. Yeah, that is not good, what's happening here. This actually points to a lot of stuff going wrong. And the way it's colored is making it really... Okay, so for one thing, I really messed up this side somehow. Why is this side correct and this side is ruined? I think the X upper face has been messed up. The upper bulk face. X upper... We're changing too many things. Changing way too many things. Where would that happen? You know what? I would not be surprised if we actually just have another another positional mistake here with the offset and the tiles here. -8, 10. That's correct. So it's not that, but it could be this other one. Not this one, though. It couldn't be this one, but it could be this one. Nope, that's correct. Ooh. Oof. That actually makes me not clear where this is, where this problem is. Upper bulk larynx. It's unfortunate. I was really hoping that's where the problem was. You're getting into the UI and themes now. I do not like control nodes. I am not a fan. I'm learning to use them, but it's been an uphill battle for me. The whole hierarchy of control nodes and drives me crazy. All right. So, what's the best way to figure this out? I think what we should do is we should go look at the reasons why a layer might get skipped. It's kind of the only thing I can understand possibly causing some of this. You know, some of the diagonal checks stuff is probably wrong too, but I think we can live without that. This is probably part of the problem. This cutaway.has, cutaway.extents.upper bulk. Because this is super wrong. This whole thing needs to be wiped out. So this part needs to get removed. And then, in fact, this should just be all put on one line. That's because the bulk shared, it was all being shared on a single tile set atlas source. So now we've got them on separate source IDs, so we don't need to do that check. So that was actually probably causing some problems. Very likely that was causing problems. Cutaway. Okay, so we no longer care about recording the cutaways there. So let's get it to the top here and let's review those. I think some of these early checks, like this cutaways, hull key, XYZ has, blah, blah, blah. That's correct. I think the specifics, these specific functions, I need to look more closely at these top line considerations that would cause us to return default. X2 Start, you got into bespoke synth a little bit after I mentioned it a while back. You didn't really make any music with it. You made some wind ambience you're happy with. You were watching a tutorial where a guy used a physical synth and it was easy to translate into bespoke. Cool, cool. Yeah, I really want to try bespoke. I'm really interested with using that for ambient sound generation. There's apparently a dynamic audio talk that happened at Godot Fest that No Jewel mentioned. I want to watch that too. It's fun. Cool. Because the only other thing is I'm like, how would I implement some of this weird stuff? Like Fmod obviously would be the choice, but I'm interested to see how other people are doing dynamic audio. I also kind of want to try the programming language audio one. Because I'm not a big visual shader graph kind of style person, and I know most of these kinds of synth programs have a very shader graph style interface. I'm not huge on that. Hey, no, Jewel, just watch all the talks. I will. Give us time. Arnio, you wish you were making audio? I am not making audio either, so yeah, I agree. I would love to be doing more art and audio stuff. Soon. Soon. All we have to do is finish the block editor tool and then the simulation. And then we can start making content. Godot Fest playlist. Nice. Good looking out. Nix, you like making audio? Audio is fun. Audio is great. Yeah, the Godot Fest account. It's a new account, it looks like, that they made just for this. Good on them for uploading the talks instantly. Unfortunately, the GodotCon talks took like a month or two for all of them to come out. It's like multiple months. But the Godot Fest videographer. To be fair, it looks like there were more talks at GodotCon, but maybe not. The amount of time it took for them to all come out made it feel like there were. Rhiannon Journey used to do some programmatic audio with Ruby way back in like 2008. There's this popular program that people use. I don't remember what it's called. There's a streamer that uses it that's like somewhat famous for it. I think it's originally written in Haskell, but there's like someone came up with like a JavaScript or TypeScript version or something. Somebody will know what this is and remind me. But yeah, I want to try that out too, because I think I would be interested in that. You had to make something for your thesis back in the day? Oh. You found it fascinating with like lots of options. Hard to make something sound good though. Are you talking about bespoke or something else? Or just programmatic audio? New Jewel, the German Chaos Computer Club helped them out. Seems like they're really efficient. What? A German club being efficient? Shocked Pikachu. Hex, you like making audio when it's going well. You hate making it when it doesn't. It's double the headache compared to quote-unquote normal dev problems because you also have your ears blasted with noise. Oh yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna be really uncomfortable if I have to like set up a crazy audio setup for streaming audio development when I get to it on the stream. That's gonna make me uncomfortable. I've had a hard time doing that for jams, so I've generally just not. Are you talking about Strudel? Yes, Diginanigans, thank you. I think we're talking about Strudel. I want to try Strudel. Maybe not the original Haskell version of Strudel. Oh, unless Strudel's not the Haskell version. Oh, Strudel's the JavaScript version of Tidal Cycles. Tidal Cycles is the original, written in high school. Strudel is the... Yeah, I'm going to... Oh, I already have this bookmarked. Great. Yeah, Strudel. Strudel.cc. Strudel. I want to try this. This looks fun. I don't know if I'd actually ever do anything with this, like seriously, but I want to try it. Yeah, that looks fun. Thanks, Nanigans. I'm always over here just trying to nerd snipe Diginanigans. So we're trying to sort a hull here with a block form. That won't work. What do we want to do instead? Get deck plate X. So we're looking at the layer below us. So we would be tile.layers.upper bulk. Oh, shoot. I didn't actually bother to look to see which one that was. Oh, it doesn't say. What the heck? What the heck is this check? Did I refactor this at some point and then not remember what I was doing? Deck plate X tile. Let's see if the deck plate Y tile says something else. I think it would be int. Hold on. Int tile dot layers dot upper bulk X. I think that's what we would be looking for in this case. Oh god, I hit a button. Holy shit. Yeah. Strudel looks cool, Hex. Sorry to send you down another rabbit hole. Oh my god, 2 nerdy nerds. Raiding in here. Quick, hide the code. Hey nerds. How's it going? Happy Friday. Show us the gameplay. Thank Godot, it's Friday, I'll tell you that. I'll also tell you I can't show you the gameplay because we're in the middle of a refactor and everything is broken. Big surprise. Yeah, what is gameplay? Yeah, exactly. Not that there's any gameplay. The joke is that there's no gameplay to show either. We're Digital Iliad. We're working on an isometric take, an isometric 2D take on FTL, faster than light. I can show you. Thank you, Torchlight. I can show you the game jam we made recently here. I just put out a new post-jam version of it. We made it for a Halloween jam. Let me pause the music here. Let's do this. I made this little reverse farming game. How's it going? I hope all is good. Good. Everything is good. Yeah, I made this game, The Grave Escape. You can't see the whole title. Super cute reverse farming game. Made it in 72 hours. I'm demoing it tomorrow at an in-person playtesting event. I just added direct control. I'll drop a link. But this is the last game we've made. Let me see if the audio works. I'm a little concerned. We're going to skip the tutorial. Audio seems okay. So now you don't have to click around anymore. Now you can direct control. It's this cute little game where you manage a graveyard and your job is to keep all of the denizens in the graveyard. What was that selection for Godot loads? That was cool. That was called Jam Pack by Bad Cop. It's a way of... Here, I'll show you it again. The grayscale really works. Yeah, so this is from Jam Pack. There's a link. Here, let me drop the game link for anyone. 72 hours? Damn, thanks. I didn't make all the assets, Foul G. Welcome in. Appreciate Dino Christ. Want to join another game jam that just started? Bomberman. Ooh. Cool. Yeah, Jam Pack represent. Exactly, Hex to start. Yeah, those are Kenny and K-Kit aspects. But yeah, Jam Pack is cool because you can just upload 2 web bundles and Jam Pack will let you pick between them. Super neat. So yeah, I'm going to go through this tutorial. So you're this graveyard keeper. You have these tools. The graveyard's split into like 4 quarters, and you have 4 tools that can be used to tend. So you move over the tiles to interact, which you can do with direct movement now. Joystick or WASD. I added that recently since the jam. You tend the graveyard. You can use the shovel to tend the graves. You can use the candles to tend the altars, which you can barely see. The candy to feed the zombies, and the garlic to seal away the vampires. And so it's just a cozy game about tending a cemetery and trying to keep the monsters from escaping. Kind of cute. Yeah, Jam Pack is super good. I've been using it a lot for web build game jams that I want to add. I want to add a post jam version without hiding the original, so I can feed the zombies some additional candy. They're gonna pick up some candy. You can see the garlic fuses running down. Anyway, sorry, I've been rude. How was the stream, 2 Nerdy Nerds? You also got some zombies you're working on, I think. I think your zombies are better than mine. But yeah, we had a lot of fun with this. This is for the solo development Halloween Jam, which is nice because you're allowed to use assets. So I used artist assets. The graves are going to get grown over. The candles are running out. You can kind of see. So monsters are going to start streaming out of here. We're trying to work on that. I'm going to replace the... Actually, I'm going to take my shovel. I'm going to try to repair the skeleton graves because that's easy to do. Is that a package for Godot specifically? Jam pack? Yes. It's for Godot web builds. Here's a skeleton or a ghost. Yeah, go take care of it yourself, ghost. I think a vampire is about to come out here. Not rude. You're here for awesome entry. Stream was great. Steady progress. That's all you can see. Or that's all you can... Yeah, that's all you can do, right? But yeah, this was fun. Definitely some challenges for this. Actually, I'm going to let a vampire come out. Yep. That door opened. Maybe I'll feed the zombies while I'm waiting. They're almost out of candy. But yeah, thank you for the raid. Thanks for hanging out. We'll probably get back to our regular work here once I banish a few more of these monsters. But yeah, I had a lot of fun with this one. It was certainly a lot to do in 72 hours. You'll need to look at that for your own package. Yeah, I think the code is available. It's a jam pack by Bad Cop. Oh, the music's gotten intense. Music intensifies. Seal away this vampire. Got it. I kind of want some skeletons to spawn. I'm gonna tend to the altars here. The vampire just bonks you. Yeah, everyone kind of bonks you if you run into them. It's kind of fun. You can actually give them the tools sometimes, like this skeleton. I can give him a shovel, and he'll go out back and repair his own grave. So it's kind of like a backup. I lost one. Get back here. Get back here, you stupid skeleton. Oh, he got away. Oh no, here comes another vampire. Scare him away with some garlic. Oh no, the zombies are out of candy. When they yell brains, that means they're on a rampage because they couldn't get any candy. So he's gonna come out here and bug me now. Skeleton went on to win the Oscars. Yeah, that skeleton was Jacob Elordi. I gotta get this zombie back in its pen. Take some candy. Oh no! The ghosts will do it too. They'll repair they'll plant. The vampires won't, which makes sense. They don't want to handle this garlic. I'm gonna go repair the graves again. Yeah, this was fun. This was great to make in just 72 hours. Probably our last jam of the year, but I'm enjoying game jams so much. It's well worth the time in my mind. Awesome work on this. Thank you so much. Yeah, I think we're probably good on this. But yeah, check it out if you like. It works on phones too. It's got a touch interface as well. It's not as good as the direct movement, but this was so much fun to do. Yeah, this is part of the solo development Halloween Jam. Right now, we're working on a block editor tool for this game, Digital Iliad. Again, thanks for hanging out. Tune Nurse, thanks for the raid. If you got to run or lurk, don't worry about it. Really appreciate it. So what we did here recently is we have these wall blocks, and we've split them into half. So that there's an upper and a lower portion that get drawn separately, and that solves a bunch of outlining problems we were dealing with. So the problem is just copying them all the autotiling rules for both walls obviously doesn't work. So we're rewriting a bunch of the autotiling rules to accommodate this new split between the wall structure. Foul G, question for all the experienced Godot devs. Can Godot do quote-unquote normal apps, like not games? Oh, yeah. I know people doing a number of not game stuff. Let me see if I can find something for you here. Yeah, I know a rocket engineer that is using Godot to make ground control software for the company's rockets. You can kind of do anything with Godot. Maybe something with an actual database. I mean, Godot, you can use Godot with a library, right? Like Godot, there's like a Godot library, so you could even use it without like the editor. That's definitely something that's becoming more popular. There was a GodotCon video kind of about this. Maybe it wasn't exactly about this. But yeah, it's super cool. You can definitely Godot. I feel like Godot is so lightweight and flexible. You could use it for a lot of different stuff. What kind of stuff do you have in mind? GodotCon Boston 2025. Thought there was something in here about that. Maybe not. I don't know how to get to the playlists. View full playlist. Ooh, there's a video about building cross-platform non-game applications with Godot. This might be, honestly, they might be trying to sell you something with this one. But I think this could be an interesting one to check out. Something for gardening, tracking, planting, harvesting, seed info, yada yada. I don't know if this video is about a nanotechnology design utility. It's more about 3D visualization and user interface stuff. So there is a GodotCon Boston talk kind of about it. But yeah, I think that's super cool. Yeah, there's a pixel art program. There's like an RPG maker tool. Nanigans, you find Godot works really well if you're making some sort of app that requires some sort of visualization stuff. Yeah, I think they talk about that a lot in the video. But yeah, I think it'd be cool. I would love to use Godot to just solve little development problems that I have. I want to learn how to make the semi-transparent windows so I can have a Godot window up as like a semi-transparent window that like absorbs some UI input, but not all. I would love to add little utility Godot programs to my workflows in some cases. I think that'd be cool. That'd be super neat. Obviously, all in service of eventually making an idle game. Nanigans, if you're comfortable with web technologies, there's much better support for traditional applications, a lot bigger ecosystem support, and native OS stuff built into it. So, like a web app is probably better in most cases. If you can do web app stuff, that makes some sense. That makes some sense. Yeah, no worries. Thanks for asking, G. Appreciate that. Was it solo, Hex? Yeah, this was solo. I was able to use pre-existing art assets again and sound. I like the solo dev jams because it's not so stressful like a down to jam or a Ludum Dare compo. Like it's nice being able to just use art packs and sound packs and stuff. Kind of fun. Lets me do a lot of stuff that I wouldn't otherwise be able to do because I don't have like 3D art skills. Like I don't have an art pipeline, a 3D art pipeline I can use for anything. Nanigans, that said, Godot apps will likely be more performant than an Electron app. That makes sense too. Yeah, that's one of those things. It's like do what you're comfortable with, right? Like I'd probably use a Godot app, or make a Godot app because I don't know anything about web dev really. All right, are we just gonna run this and see if it runs? I think the thing I wanted to check was some of these early out functions, some of these early out checks um, that should just be giving us a default tile. So the deck plate X tile, if we're cut away, we've got a deck plate here. Cutaway plus X has deck plate. Yeah. Yeah, I think I actually see exactly where the overdraw would be happening. It's not here, but it's soon. It's around here. Deck plate Y. Deck plate Y tile. Sapphire, you gotta go. Your Twitch stream's giving you issues. No worries. I appreciate you hanging out. You have no obligation. Tune in at your convenience and tune out for the same, right? Appreciate you hanging out. Thanks again. Hope you have a good weekend. I guess other people can have a good weekend too. Hope you all have a good weekend. I guess I should turn the music back on. I don't know if I can carry the vibes by myself here. Hex, you only now noticed that I'm also streaming on YouTube because some comments don't show up there. Yes. Nanigans, you were comparing Electron versus Godot application development? Yeah, no worries. You were looking into both heavily for the content editing tools you've been making. Do you have a split? Because I know you've written some of your own stuff outside of Godot. So is your game's workflow like a mix of Electron and Godot stuff? Or have you kind of settled mostly on one or the other? Can you have a good weekend, Rhiannon Journey? Oh, of course. If you would like. No, Jewel, isn't Tari more performant than Electron? Look, you want to argue that, you hop into the YouTube chat. You argue with the Diginanigans about that. I don't know anything. I don't know anything about this stuff. See you, Sapphire. Really appreciate you hanging out today. Yeah, we are multi-streaming to YouTube, and I do not show both of the chats because that is a violation of the Twitch terms of service. And I know a bunch of people get away with doing that. So it's enforced very selectively, but I'm not doing it. It's not worth it for me. So it's unfortunate, but I am not talking to myself. I think you could be assured of that. I am talking to other people. Yeah, it is a violation of the TOS to show. It's worded very weirdly. It's something about combining chats. Like, if you interleave or combine multiple platform chats into one, they get upset. I don't know. It's weird. I don't understand. I think they don't want people to be able to engage with the Twitch stuff without being on Twitch, is I think the core of it. Am I talking to the voices in my head? Hey, come real. Welcome in. No, I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. TOS, pretend other streaming services don't exist. Exactly. Oh man, no, Jewel called my bluff. They hopped over into the YouTube chat to argue about web app platforms. The games in Godot, you're building most of your tools that in Electron, Nanigans. Oh, that's cool. Appreciate it. Rhiannon Journey, you think you'll be building tooling for your game in web technologies? It's what you know best, and you have really quick workflows for building very complex data entry editing interfaces. Yeah, I think that's it. You do what you're comfortable with, right? That's why we're sitting here in C# in Godot. That's what I'm comfortable with. All right, so I need to clarify these early checks again. So lower bulk Z, fine. Lower bulk. In this case, I think that's correct. But yeah, I think I know where the problem is. So I want to go down here. So the lower bulk cutaway, if cutaways has lower bulk, all contains, yeah, so I think I just need to go down to the upper. Oh, I need to remove these lines. I realized I needed to remove these, and then I didn't do it. All right, we'll go back for that. We'll go back for that. Otherwise, I'm going to keep forgetting what I'm supposed to be doing. All right, so this contains key deck plate Z minus vector3i.z. So the lower bulk Z tile is looking at one layer up. So this is wrong. This is wrong. This needs to say upper bulk, and this needs to say upper bulk Z. We need to get rid of that -1. That should be more correct. I say more correct. We're kind of just trying to approach correctness. So we're going to do it gradually. Because again, this is a pretty big refactor, and it's not all gonna come together immediately. finally a C# stream and not a Python JavaScript mixed language. GDScript's okay. I don't hate GDScript. I forget how to use it every time. Like, I do a game jam every few months, and I'm like, how does GDScript work again? But yeah, I'm way more comfortable in C#. Actually, the whole simulation layer of our game is in C# outside of the scene tree. Like, I don't talk to the Godot API almost ever. We pass some stuff back and forth. Like, we pass the rendering information back to Godot, and we get UI information. So we take in input, and we send back a rendering output. So Godot for us is really not involved in a lot of the simulation of this game. We've kind of carved out our own little area to work in. Because yeah, I've committed some C# crimes over here. Like, I made an entity component system in C#, which is gross. Arneo. It's always just Diginanigans in YouTube chat, but his input is worth keeping the YouTube stream open for. That's funny. Yeah, it is. Diginanigans has the insight. Rhiannon Journey, you've tried to join the YouTube chat. For some reason, the chat panel rarely loads for you. The latency is also a lot higher. Come real. You personally prefer C#? Dynamic typing sucks. Dynamic typing is pretty bad. You can force GDScript to like statically type stuff, but yeah, it's on you, right, to defend that. All right, so this needs to change. This needs to say upper bulk. And then this or stuff, I think, needs to be different too, because here we go, plus X has any. No, that's all right. So this just needs to change to upper bulk. If we can get close to where we were at before by the end of this stream, I would consider that a pretty huge success here. Upper bulk. Upper bulk. Yeah, if we can get anywhere close to the functionality that we had before, I'm going to be pretty pleased here. And then we'll start adding on stuff. We'll start accommodating those unique half outlines that we need to handle. ECS enjoyer here too, Hex. Although more for the structure than for the performance game, so a lightweight take on ECS. That's exactly what I do. My ECS, well, for one thing, I wrote my ECS in a managed language, so I'm trying to do some memory management on my own, but I haven't sweated it too much. Yeah, I also prefer it for the structure. I definitely prefer the compositional structure. Every time I go for like an inheritance structure, like I'm doing a game jam, like last game jam, I was like, we're going to have a single character-based class, and the monsters will inherit from it, and the player will inherit from it, and they'll have all this shared functionality. That ended up being such a huge pain, and I don't know why I didn't just do a compositional structure. But yeah, I love the ECS structure, both for for all of it, the entity, the component, the system. I really like the system, because you can do an entity component architecture without considering systems. Like, you can still have the update loop on the entity or whatever, right? Or in the component. But like, I like the whole thing. And yeah, I like it for organizational reasons. I'm not really reaching for that performance. But I think the nice thing about an ECS architecture is that performance is there. So it's like, if you need it, you could go get it. If you start with that. If you start with some other architecture, some like what someone has called, and what I like to repeat, the web of references, that is like the crazy object-oriented approach to doing this stuff. That is way harder to untangle once you've gotten down the road, like a ways down the road with it. But an entity component system refactor is always within reach. Like, Hex, systems and components just give this nice flat overview. Trying to change a mechanic, just head to the mechanic system. Yeah, exactly. And the modularity is great. It's a lot harder to accidentally ruin some other system. Like, it's really hard to ruin another system unless you're sharing components or whatever, right? Like, Hex, you're doing a lightweight ECS with Godot now. Systems plus list of nodes. Nice. Are you doing it all in GD script or are you writing it in C++ as like a GD extension? Because if I could, I would have written this as a GD extension and I would just be talking to it from GD script. It's only my lack of C++ experience, which is why we're doing this in C#. Do I use assemblies in Godot C#? Not yet. I haven't really needed to do any of that stuff. This isn't Unity. I'm like not being killed by like domain reloading every time I make a scripting change. C# lol, exactly. Oh, Hex, you're doing it in C# too? We should compare notes. Let's wait until we both finished our ECS implementations and then compare notes and then be like, wow, we could have done it a different way. You're just starting off? Yeah, no worries. I haven't touched my ECS much this year. We did a lot of it at the end of last year. And I haven't really needed to expand it. It's super bare bones. It's very bare bones. It's just, there's entities, there's components, there's chunks and archetypes. There's a very basic querying system. I do have dynamic buffer support, which I use a lot. There's a lot of times I want to associate a big block of memory with an entity. And I want to put some small uniform struct in it like a whole bunch of times. Like a ship. Like a ship has an interior. And I don't want to make all the blocks entities, right? So they're just like, it's just like a 3D space that I represent in like a dynamic buffer or something, so that it can be associated with the entity without taking up space in a chunk somewhere, right? And that's pretty much all I've needed. I haven't needed a lot of fancy stuff like I don't have entity relationships really set up. I also don't have tags yet, but I would like to add some tag support at some point. But yeah, we're also very bare bones. All right, what was I doing? I'm rewriting this because this says hulls contains key, hull key with W equals deck plate Z minus vector 3i dot Z. So we want to get rid of this minor vector 3i dot Z. And we want to instead, so minus, so I'm looking up. Okay, no, this one actually stays the same. That's correct. But that's cool. I didn't realize you're doing that, Hex. That's awesome. It's either awesome or we've both had equally very bad ideas. Also, thank you for the follows. Key roll, Dev with Lex. Really appreciate that. And Torchlight again. You came in with the raid. Appreciate you hanging around. If you just found me and thought this was a neat place to hang out for a minute, even better. Hex, you sent a DM on Discord with your listed node. Oh, I'm curious. I'm curious to check it out. I'm curious to see how you're doing it. Because there are definitely some good references on how to do an ECS with C#. Most of them use source generators. I have not used any source generators yet. It definitely solves a lot of problems. But I also don't need... I'm also just hard coding all my component types. Like I don't need to live in a world where I don't know the component types ahead of time. So I feel like if you were writing an ECS for an engine, a generic engine, you would take a very different approach than the approach I've taken. The approach I've taken is like the component types are predefined, you know, there's a finite number of them. It's very simple. You did the same thing in Unity, just with listed behavior. Oh, interesting, because yeah, my last 3 or 4 years in Unity, so like probably from like 2023 to like 2019, something like that, all spent in .ccs, which is part of the reason why I'm like this. Oh, Diginanigans is writing in defense of dynamic typing. Dynamic typing is great for quickly prototyping things. You aren't going to spend more than a couple days on it most, but it's much more of a headache for anything you want to maintain long term. That's how I feel about GDScript in general. I love GDScript for game jams. I love just the way Godot is set up when I'm game jamming. It's mostly really nice. I would like a few more, maybe some more features in their IDE, make refactoring easier. But I could just be working in JetBrains Rider instead or something. Like, that's on me for not using a better IDE, but... Come real. Can you expand the ECS acronym? From what you've gathered, it's a collections cast. It's Entity Component System. And so it's like, it describes the three things that make up the architecture. So there's like the entity, which is just a unique identifier. And then there are components, which are like the individual behavioral bits, not behavioral, the data bits that are on the thing. So like an entity might have a position, it might have a direction, it might have a health component, you know? Those are the components. And then you have systems that run over all entities with certain components. So for like a health system or a position system, it's like, give me all entities that have positions, or give me all entities that have health components, and I'll process them. So it's just a way of getting out of, you know, the typical like Unity model where like there's an update loop on every object. So every object runs an update loop. This is like flipping that, where you're like, I have one system that processes all entities that have certain sets of components. It's just kind of a different way of organizing how you would achieve similar behavior. You didn't recognize the acronym? Oh yeah, no worries. It's bad on me for just using jargon and not explaining it. What I was referring to. A by-the-book implementation would be a bit more involved than lists of components. Look, yes. If you want to go really off the deep end, you look at Flex. I think Flex is super cool. I wish I was clever enough to implement a Flex-like ECS. There's crazy stuff. Because Flex, you can treat an entity as a component. I would love to be able to do that. I don't need to, but I would love to be able to do that. That would be super cool. But that would involve supporting dynamic components. As in components that haven't been defined at runtime. And I am not going to support dynamic components. You made something like that a few times? Yeah, I think over time, people kind of just gravitate towards that compositional style, which you can achieve a compositional style without ECS. You don't need to use ECS. In many ways, ECS has a lot of problems. There's certain kinds of things in games that ECS approaches have a hard time with, like events. Events are tough. It's one of those things. It's kind of like OOP, like object-oriented stuff. It's like ECS has problems, OOP has problems. There are things they're good at, there are things they're bad at. I think the only mistake is being dogmatic about your implementation of either, right? Same thing with like TTD. It's like tests are good, but do you need to implement TTD? Capital T, capital T, capital D? Like, I don't know. Do you? But yeah, I tend to prefer the ECS, the compositional approach, to like more of a OOP, like inheritance approach, just personally. But again, you don't have to do either to achieve either, right? Hex, it's good to keep in mind that ECS is often sold as Uber-optimized framework that handles lots of objects. You don't go there. Use a simplified version with a normal number of objects. Yeah. I mean, the thing a lot of people will tell you is like, unless you're pretty sure you are running into a cache, like a CPU cache utilization issue, you don't need it. It's like, and that's like, yeah. But it's also true that just because you're using ECS, you're not. That doesn't mean you're going to fix your your CPU cache utilization issues. It's not a magic bullet for performance, but I think it is an architecture that does, in the long run, probably make it easier to handle large numbers of objects. Like if you write an ECS and you combine it with like instanced rendering, and ECS together, you can do some pretty crazy stuff. But yeah, 90% of the time you don't need it. I agree with you. I would use ECS even in these cases where there aren't huge numbers of entities. And the entities themselves are like pretty heavy. As in they have lots of components, so you don't actually get a lot of advantage depending on their archetype. Because if either the components or the archetypes are too big, you really don't see a lot of gain, right? But yeah, I like it too. I'm excited to see how you've approached your stuff. I'm eventually going to split my ECS out into a plugin. Not like for other people, because I would be too embarrassed and I don't want to maintain something like that. But I think I do eventually want to split the ECS out, because I want to split the implementation of the ECS out from the implementation of the game. Eventually. I think I'm heading in that direction, where some of these more modular underpinnings of my game, I think it would make more sense to implement them as plugins. All right, so now we need to fix this thing, this monster here. So this needs to, so all of these checks need to go away. Is there one more thing I need to change here? So let's go up and let's check them all again for this last thing here. The fact that we haven't hard crashed at any point during this refactor is kind of incredible to me. All right, so what am I looking for? I'm looking for this part, the atlas chords. So when we declare the atlas chords in the new tile, there's a ternary operator in there that we need to remove. What's this Z+1? This is bad too. So what is this? Deck plate X. 1 is Y plus Z. Yeah, we got to change this too. This should be upper bulk X. This should be upper bulk Z. Should also be upper bulk X. Let me check those again real quick here. Deck plate Y plus Z. Upper bulk Y. Yeah, splitting the wall. This is like a huge change for these systems. Kind of amazing how robust this system is that's been able to handle it and only look kind of wrong. Hex, you witnessed a strict ECS project being produced once. The team complained about more boilerplate than it was worth in the end, because you need additional systems to pass data between main systems to actually benefit from cache optimization, etc. And your opponent, that's not worth it unless you're literally making a game where there's a shit ton of... Yeah, unless you have identified that your problem is CPU cache utilization, yeah, it's not worth it. You only have a shit ton of a single type of thing, just handle as an array of structs in a single system and don't go full ECS. I've split the difference on that, which is what I mean when I say dynamic buffer, which is a term that I've taken from Unity, because Unity has dynamic buffers. And that is basically that. It's just it's an array of structs that is a variable size that you can associate with an entity. And I use that for all sorts of stuff. Like what we're operating on right here. These tiles are not entities in a buffer, these tiles aren't entities with components. These tiles are just individual entities in like a dynamic buffer somewhere. Like, actually the tiles aren't even that, but that's confusing if I get into that. Oh, there's another ad they're trying to trigger. Oh wait, what time is it? Oh, I gotta go. All right. Let's finish this rewrite here real quick, and then I do gotta go. But this has been awesome. We're gonna find someone to raid. I'm gonna finish this sweep for the Atlas chord set. We're going to look for all these Atlas chord sets to remove. But this has been a great stream. Twitch was like, let me run an ad. And I'm like, wait, what? What time is it? You got a lot of stuff done? Yeah, don't worry about that. Don't worry about, you know, getting as much as you expect. I never get as much as I thought I would get done. Ever. Whether I'm on stream or off stream. It's tough. That's tough stuff. But this has been really fun. Hopefully we're back to a mostly regular schedule next week. But we are hitting the holidays. We are hitting the holidays, so things are going to get, you know, interrupted. Hex, you do get less done. You get. I'm having a hard time parsing that, but I think I maybe get the sentiment. You get less done 10 times to get more done 1 time. You had a hard time writing it, yeah. Well, I'm glad it's the weekend. Like I said, I've got some events tomorrow, so there won't be any stream tomorrow. I'm doing some in-person playtests, and I'm doing my monthly in-person Godot meetup. So that'll be fun. See if I can add camera controls to mini delivery. Bring that with me. I would love that. I need to update the itch page with some of the new versions of that I've been working on. Arneo, you got nothing done. You're taking a few steps back from the project to let it mull over in your idle processing. Happy to just distract people in here. No, yeah, you got to put it away. Sometimes you got to put the project away to make progress on it. Because you need to change your approach, or you need to change your perspective. So yeah, I actually think that's very healthy. I think wall clock time is one of the underestimated aspects of good design. Like I think a lot of times it is important to just put something down. Think it over. Do the, you know, you let the back of your brain work on it, right? Okay, I think that was it. I think we did it there. I'm pretty concerned that most of these are still wrong. The actual rules. Let me see if I made progress or if I just made everything worse. Did we make things better or generally worse? Oh, hey, we made things a lot better. Whoa, okay, well, we made things a little better. Okay. Ooh. All right, that's fine. We got stuff to work on next time. We'll always have stuff to work on next time. All right, ads are done. Is there anyone right now? I gotta run, but I'm just gonna see if there's anyone we can pop in and say hi to. The big boy is working on some stuff. I'll probably pop in there. Thanks, Shenanigans. Yeah. Big boy games. Impressive to refactor things while streaming. That's the most comfortable thing for me to do while streaming is refactor. The thing I have a hard time with while streaming is doing something new. Doing something new, I have such a hard time doing on stream. I love refactoring on stream. It's so much more concise what I'm trying to do when I'm doing a refactor. Love a good refactor. But yeah, we'll be back next Tuesday. Clinky, Clink. Oh, K Clink B. Thank you for the K Clink Bye. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'm scared to death when I try to do something new on stream. It never goes well. All right, we got a raid queued up. We're going to raid Big Boy Games Official. They do great stuff in Godot. They're working on a game called Starbound. You're tired, Magoo? Well, it's Friday. I think it might be time to knock off. Getting close. Thanks everyone over on YouTube too for hanging out today. Appreciate it. I know you're a quieter group, but I really appreciate you hanging out. I hope everyone has a great rest of their day and a great weekend. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye.
Maximum warp.